Hello, everybody. Today, as I am recording this, it is October 1st, and that means it is the official kickoff of the Budget of Sigmar 2 Electric Boogaloo. This time, it's for real. Army Building Challenge. I have a previous video where I explain all of the details of this. I'll link to that below. But, high level, what are we doing here? So, this is our second Army Building Challenge. It is all about building up a unique converted force over a 6-month period. Let's just jump into the next slide and we'll get into all the details because that will explain it better. All right, so what are we doing here? Okay, so over the next 6 months, the challenge here is to build an army. This can be for any game. It can be for Age of Sigmar, Ninth Age, whatever you happen to have. This is generally an army-sized building event, so that is to say, skirmish probably wouldn't work, but, you know, army is good, and any game works. And the idea here is to, you see the rules on here, you do 1 unit every month. For the middle 4 months, you have an additional unit. In those cases, in month 2 and 4, it's a character. In month 3 and 5, it's either a war machine or a monster or both. That is to say, they could both be monsters, they could both be war machines. What's tricky about this? Okay, well, the trick here is that everything has to be converted in some way. So this challenge is about building a unique, personalized force. This is a great chance to do that project that maybe you've thought about for a long time. I think everybody has one of these, right? Everybody has that project that's like, wouldn't it be neat if I took this army and made it look like this? I did a pirate theme, or I had them all as ninjas or samurais, or I mixed these two forces together, or whatever. There is thousands and thousands of good examples. But oftentimes it can be hard to get started. So that's what this is. This is the impetus. Now is the time. And so that's why it's not a lot. It's, 1 unit in a month, which I think is doable. And then in 4 of the months, you have 1 other model generally, like a unit and a monster, or a unit and a character. There's no budget limit, even though this is called the Budget of Sigmar. I called it that only because that's what our first army building challenge last year was. As I said, today is the official kickoff. It is October 1st. It runs from now until March 31st, so the next 6 months. I'll be dedicating at least 1 video a month to progress, so everybody who posts their progress, I will review it. And your next question might be, but Vince, where do I post my project? Well, this challenge is being conducted as part of the PMP, the Painters Motivating Painters Google Plus community. The link for that community is down below. It is our hobby-focused Google Plus community. The only requirement we have for you to join the community is that you are interested in taking the next step in your own personal hobby journey. That's it. It doesn't matter what level of skill you're at. We would love to have you join us. All that we ask in the community is that you want to take whatever your next step is in your personal hobby journey. That's what's important. So, let's answer some questions that have come up since the beginning of since I first posted this. And as I said, remember, the full video with a much lengthier explanation will be linked down below. But one of the questions was, is there a budget? No, you can spend whatever you want. I don't care. You can spend as much or as little as you like. And the other question was, well, what does converted in some way mean? Can I just do weapon swaps and head swaps? Does everything have to be green stuffed, kit bashed? Like, how far do you have to go here? And the answer is, sure, whatever. Like, I'm not going to dictate to you what converted means. They should be converted. An entire army of just weapon swaps is probably fairly boring. Do what seems interesting here. That is to say, lean into this. Use this as an opportunity to do something cool, to push yourself, to maybe try some green stuff. Does it have to be on every model? No, of course not. Can you have some weapon swaps and maybe some battle damage and stuff like that? Absolutely. Absolutely. Participate in the level you are comfortable at. That is the appropriate level to participate. But at the same time, don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Push yourself a little with some units. That's the whole fun of this challenge. So as I said, I'll review everyone's progress. as they post them in the PMP Google Plus community. In the community, you'll notice there are 2 tabs of relevance here. One is called Hobby Challenge. That's where you post your progress. That's where I will look each month to review the photos that people post and talk about what people are doing and their progress in the monthly update video. And then at the end of the 6 months, you'll notice a tab called Hobby Challenge Final Submissions. That's where you will put your final army. So at the end of March, actually it'll be at the beginning of April, everybody will post the final force that they have put together over the last 6 months, personally converted, their own proud force that they have that is theirs and theirs alone, this unique creation that they have made for themselves for all time. And then we will have a little contest, and we'll have a whole bunch of categories for people to vote for their favorite, things like best painted, and of course, best character conversions and best unit conversions. And there's one other little thing that's part of this. Since we're personalizing this and doing a conversion, the other very important piece is that when you post your final submission, you have to include the narrative story of that force. So why does the force look like they do? So for example, I saw Callum from Tabletop Banter is participating, and I saw he is going to do a undead army from the Realm of Fire, and they're going to be all on lava and sort of blackened and charred and stuff, and I thought that was a super sweet idea. And he read a little excerpt from the beginning of his story, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. So, that you've got to have a nice little narrative about why your force is converted like it is. So, there you go. 6 months, 1 unit a month. Middle 4 months have one additional commitment of either a character or a war machine or monster, as listed on the little chart. You can, of course, do more for this army each month if you like, but you may only submit what's listed, and only what's listed will be counted for the final voting. PMP, that's where all this will be. As I said, the link for that is down below. I am very excited about this. I have a very fun, strange project that I've kind of been thinking about for a while, but I'm going to talk about that in a separate video later. Challenge begins today, so feel free to jump right in. It's going to be a lot of fun. There are a lot of people participating. It's a great chance to push yourself, to try new things, to do that force, like I said, that you've always had in your mind, but maybe you just didn't have the reason to do it. Well, guess what? The reason's here. So I look forward to all of your wonderful submissions. As I said, I'm very excited about this challenge, and we'll see you next time.